Good afternoon. I wish to thank Dr. Neeta Nair, Dr. Rima Pathak, and Dr. Jyoti Bajpai for having invited me to share our experience in 3D printing in oncology. This is a different topic to pick up in breast because there is not much that has been done in breast oncology, but yes, there is a huge scope for 3D printing even in breast oncology. To understand 3D printing, for those who are not aware of it, this is additive manufacturing and rapid prototyping, creating 3D models from a 2D virtual data. The method is basically a layer by layer depositing of a material which is fused together from ground upwards. The commonly used materials are polylactic acid, PLA, thermoplastic polyurethane or TPU, and acryl nitrile butadiene styrene or ABS. Our experience has primarily been with PLA and TPU. Future of cancer care lies in personalization, and 3D printing is specifically a methodology which allows for a personalization friendly technology and is positioned as a modern solution and affordable assistive tool in oncological surgical practice. As far as the various areas where 3D printing in oncology has been useful are basically anatomical training models used for surgical planning and teaching, specifically for training as well as for patients. Personalization, that means customized implants and processes, medical device prototyping and manufacture, therapeutic surgical guides and templates with radiation delivery devices being developed. And of course, in COVID-19, we have seen the use of the personal protective equipment 3D printed. The DICOM images derived from patients can be used to print multi-layered multi-material models of the tumor in relation to organ and helps in improving the patient comprehension and understanding of the condition as well as informed consenting. This results in better compliance and treatment being offered to the patient. Also, it helps in the surgeon for better planning of the surgical technique as well. So, enhanced understanding of the patient's anatomy with accurate models to define the technical skills, shortening the duration of surgery and reduce blood loss. 3D printing can be used to create surgical instruments, tools, and guides specifically for those where there are difficult access or rare cases with specific instruments being required. It happens at a low cost. There is reduced risk of errors and added complications. The 3D CAD data can be actually used to make cutting guides specifically for head and neck surgeries. Dentists can print drill guides and better fitting crowns intraoperatively to be used as well as bedside. And of course, the orthopedic implants that are very well known, as well as instruments to reduce the soft tissue damage and improve precision. Personalization is best exemplified by orthopedic and soft tissue replacement, so 3D printed implants. In breast, this has been shown by implanted scaffolds, which are printed by 3D printing, and actively recruiting cells into the area to repopulate the space with adipose tissue. These scaffolds later on, they are biodegradable, they disappear. Biodegradable polycaprolactone meshes and scaffolds have also been used for repairing orbital walls, cleft alveolus, and tracheal replacements. The main challenge of bringing 3D printing into routine care is the fact that initial investment that is required to get a 3D printing setup up and about. The 3D models themselves bring down the cost, so eventually the low cost of the 3D model it makes up for the investment that has been done. But before doing that, one must understand the technology thoroughly for appropriate application. We need specified trained manpower to run such an establishment, and obviously there is a constant debate between outsourcing versus insourcing a setup. The insourcing has an advantage because close clinician interaction makes it much more attractive, adaptive, and available, being faster, precise, and accessible. In breast oncology, there's not much that's been done in 3D printing. Most of it is still in research. But there is a scope for exact localization of extent of lesions by mapping 3D printed models. We can even create 3D printed models which have the tumor or the screen detected lesion which is depicted so that we know the extent of surgical excision. Breast implants by silicone printing is still in research and development. Biodegradable lattice with fat cell graft has been explored in some centers. The resected tissue replacement or bioprinting is also still under research. This is an example of a bra-like lattice which has been created with a grid which helps in localizing the screen detected lesions, planning the excision and the volume loss estimated much in advance of doing the surgery itself. multicentric tumors or multiple masses seen on MRI can also be created on a 3D printed model and excisions planned. This is where the future lies, but obviously it's not the true indication for doing 3D printing in breast. In the 3D printing lab at Actrec, we have started the work in 2018. The idea was to demonstrate a proof of concept for post-mastectomy personalized, customized, lightweight silicone breast implants. BIRAC grant was received for the same in Jan 2019. Our primary focus was to actually develop silicone breast implants for whole breast reconstruction and external breast prosthesis. These were to be made as personalized prostheses and implants mirroring the contralateral breast. And patient-specific anatomical models were also created in the 3D lab for training purposes, pre-surgical training, as well as for training on oncoplastic breast surgery. Why did we need to address the issue? The existing silicone breast implants, not only are they difficult to obtain and access, especially in India with import regulations, they are available in standard shape, sizes, and they tend to be heavyweight when larger ones are used. Obviously, the risk of leak as well exists. Silicone itself is a new material in 3D printing, and there are printers which are not really developed for printing silicone. One can do a mold cast of silicone in molds printed out of PLA. The technology has taken some time to develop because of the same reason. Silicone is a high viscous material which is difficult to print. What it also requires is to be cured at a high temperature. It cannot be melted. So there is a chemical curing as well as a high temperature required for enabling the setting during printing. However, silicone is the ideal material as it's resistant to oxidation and ozone. It has a high compression and shear resistance and is very ideal for creating these implants. An internal architecture is being planned to vary the density of the implant as well as to get different sizes and shapes and weight. Currently, the project is in progress and will take a few more months, maybe a year more, to get into a final product. Meanwhile, the silicone breast oncotrainers that were developed at the oncoplasty, at the 3D printing lab were used for oncoplasty training workshop in our 16th WCI meeting that was held in Goa in 2018 October. All these trainers were developed here, and international faculty used these trainers to train on oncoplastic breast surgery. Some of the non-breast related work that has been done in these labs using CT and MRI images, brain and skull models have been created for robotic training in neurosurgery. 3D simulation mandible resection guides for mandibulectomy have been developed, and they are going to be put in use in clinical use for patients. The fibula guides for cutting the fibula and recreating the mandible with the use of the tray designed for accurate placing of the fibula pieces. Dental guides for placing dental implants. The radiation phantom, which has been developed with Dr. Sareen, is being used with the patient CT scan images. We have created the TPU models. These will be used for dosimetry studies and will be made available for most of the DAE centers for dosimetry training. Zygomatic implants for pre-surgical modeling has been made with dental surgeons. Radiation delivery assist devices for the head neck support as well as shoulder support for radiation delivery. The 3D printed medical device laryngoscopes with D blades and C blades. These are video laryngoscopes and they are being tested in the OTs now for being used for patients, for using in patients. The advantage of the laryngoscopes are the low costs. They cost just 3,000 INR as compared to 3 lakhs for an actual video laryngoscope. Nasal implants, these are again being created. Silicone implants for a child where imprints are taken and implant grade silicone will be used to cast the nasal implants. Various brachytherapy applicators for vaginal applicators, rectal applicators, and cervical cancer brachytherapy has been developed. A bronchoscopy trainer model is being created with bronchial tree and being printed with TPU, and a lung model created with foam. Bronchoscopy training along with CT guided biopsies can be done on these models. The trainer model is being developed. We have also made microvascular clamps for the anatomy skill lab for Caribou workshop on microvascular anastomosis training. None of these would have been possible but for the clinical collaboration with the various individuals, the radiation oncologists, surgeons, plastic surgeons, the dental surgeons, as well as the anesthetists, and Dr. Sandeep Tandon as the physician. With all of these, we have created these models. There is more work to be done. I need to thank Dr. Badwe for having the support, for supporting us, for taking this project forward. Dr. Chiplunkar for having supported us by providing us the space and encouragement when we started in 2018. Dr. Gupta for supporting the fact that we want to make this into a 3D printing facility. And obviously, all the work that has been done, the credit goes to Akshay Bhavke, who's our technical expert in 3D printing lab. With that, I thank you for your patient listening.